a two-thirds vote of the voting delegates present. Any controversy concerning these rules will be decided by the parliamentarian, whose determination shall be final and binding. Madam Chairman, I move for adoption of this report.
And we have a motion to,
Point of information.
point of information.
Will we be provided with a copy of these rules?
The rules are presented on the screen. I do not have a copy.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Yes, Tom.
I'm not sure if it's number 7. Could you
Yeah,
go
let me
back?
go back.
Does number 7 mean that we're not going to vote on filling delegate positions today?
Correct.
Are we not trying to beat the Democrats?
We are.
Why wouldn't we fill delegate vacancies at this point?
It has nothing, well, it has nothing to do with beating the
I
Democrats,
move-
but we still
I
have
move to amend.
volunteers. Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and we're in discussion now, okay? So I have a, can you give me that wording of your amendment?
I move to amend the rules to vote on vacancies for precinct delegates in this convention today.
So are you looking to strike something or replace it? What replace?
Like replace number 7 with, we will, vacant precinct delegate positions will be filled in this convention.
Okay. So we have a motion for vacant precinct delegates for rule number 7 to be replaced by a statement that says vacant precinct delegate positions will be filled. And was there a second on that?
Yes. Second.
Do you have that, Ashton? Okay. And discussion on that amendment. So I'm going to go to you, Tom, first to state the case for why you want to have that added.
Well, I'm a first-time precinct delegate, and the reason I'm here is because I don't like what the Democrats are doing. And I'm assuming that's all of you too. So why wouldn't we give more like-minded people filling these roles? I think we have 42 some odd vacancies. So, I mean, I applaud everyone for being here, but we got to do more to fill these
Okay.
seats. So
Thank you. Is there any comments in opposition to that amendment? Aaron?
Madam Chair, I know that everyone here cares deeply about. Madam Chair, I know that everyone here is concerned about election integrity, as I care deeply about that. And that means we should be able to verify who votes and that our elected representatives are chosen by the people, not a backroom, smoke-filled room. Now, my wife and I ran as precinct delegates. That means we had to file a notarized affidavit with the county clerk that was verified to show who we were and where we were voting. And then we ran on a platform of pro-God, pro-freedom, pro-life, pro-Second Amendment to the voters. We visited every single door in our precinct, every single Republican door. And humbly, we were voted in by the people. Now, if we accept and fill vacancies at this time, the people who will fill those vacancies will skip that process. They will skip the work. They will not have shown themselves to be Republicans by the voters. So, for the sake of election integrity, we must care for election integrity here as is out there. I urge this body to vote no. Thank you.
I think I saw Loretta stand up. Thank you, Aaron. So I'm assuming you're going to speak in opposition, so please.
Discussion, yes.
Or in favor, I meant, of that amendment.
I'll yield it to Jeremy right now if he doesn't cover what I want to cover.
I just want to say one thing real quick. There are actually a number of people present here this evening that did, in fact, run for precinct delegate, that were vetted by the people, received votes by Republicans in their precincts, that were beaten by individuals here in this room who were later, by way of winning their August primaries, became at-large delegates. So I at a bare minimum think that if somebody is here who ran for precinct delegate, was vetted by the people, and lost to somebody like Bill G here, that they, at least, we should entertain elevating them or filling them into that vacancy created by Joe Silva, Bill Schutte, and any other at-large delegate that won their August primary. At a bare minimum, if somebody is here that did run for precinct delegate, and I know there are several, I think that it would be only fair to entertain the motion to fill vacancies with those individuals.
Are there any other comments against this amendment? Any opposing comments, to be fair, so that we can give all arguments? Yes, Senator Stamas.
Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate it. Whether it was as a township trustee, county commissioner, state rep, or state senator, witnessed this a few times. The challenge is that the people that actually voted on the ballot are not the ones present to actually do that. People that voted for the ballots are the ones that made those choices. They are not here to be changed at this point. That is something that will apply to them next time there is a ballot proposal for that. And so I would oppose it at this time. Thank you.
Okay, comments in favor of the amendment?
I would like to,
Okay, Loretta Mullen? Yes.
As Jeremy said, many of those here we could fill and appoint into those vacancies did run, and they only lost many of them by 5 or 6 votes. They lost 2 delegates at large who ran in their township. The delegates at large are now been re-elected as delegates at large. So those are vacancies. So those townships, the people are not being fully represented by delegates. These people have showed up because they care about their township. And I think that we should fill in those vacancies, and I think we should fill them in before we start the executive committee election.
Okay, thank you. And are there any comments opposed to this amendment? Are you opposed? Yes?
I have a question,
Okay.
if I may. There is an election process for this office of precinct delegate. Do we have the authority to fill that vacancy? I mean, what is the procedure by law to fill those vacancies that are now vacated for whatever reason, relocation, death, or whatever?
The procedure will be this body would vote either in favor or against that.
This body makes
This
that
body,
determination?
yes, for each respective county. And Renita, I want to, was that it, Steve? Okay, go ahead. We have, can you get the microphone over here, please, Alan? Thank you.
I just wanted to cite Election Law 168.609, delegates to city or county convention, proxy prohibited, vacancies and delegation. Section 609 states, all vacancies occurring in any delegation to any convention shall be filled by a majority vote of such delegation, provided that such delegation shall not be permitted to fill any vacancy which may occur in its numbers by any person not a resident of the ward, district, township, or precinct, as the case may be, from which such absent delegate was chosen. My question is, do we honestly not trust the elected people that are sitting in this room to be able to properly vet someone that we are bringing before this body to fill a vacancy? You are basically, from my perspective, you are telling us that we can't properly vet, and we would bring unvetted people in here to sit in this delegation. So by not allowing us to fill those positions, you're leaving 45 positions vacant for the remainder of this 2-year term, when you have every right and ability within this organization to fill those vacancies, and we have Republicans sitting here willing to fill these vacancies.
Thank you. Are there any other comments?
Second.
All right, the question's been called. We've had the debate. It's time to vote.
I asked for a division of the House on this question.
And would you not agree that division is this?
Are we gonna do a roll call vote?
What do you mean by division, please?
I believe it's a call, my understanding is correct, Kathy, and I'm open to what the rules committee says, but I believe that that's a roll call vote, and we vote by name, either yea or nay. And it requires a 2/3 majority to close discussion.
The raising of the flags is the same thing as a standing or sitting division vote.
And that's what I was trying to explain, Jeremy.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Any questions been called, so the next order is the vote on it.
All right. Okay, so we're voting on an amendment before we.
No, the issue is called the question. Voting on closing
Okay.
discussion.
All right, all in favor to close the discussion, please raise your red card.
Madam Chair, I believe it's a two-thirds vote.
This is just my second.
We have a teller. 77 said yes, more than 2/3. So the debate is closed, and now we will vote on the amendment. Is
How
that
many were
correct?
opposed, just for the record?
I'm sorry?
How many were opposed?
Jackie, can you identify that number? I'm sorry, how many are opposed? Please raise your red card. Thank you. Thank you. Um, 27 no. 77 yes, 27 no. Anyone abstain from the vote? Okay, so the call to question is approved, and we will now vote on the amendment. All right, so we have an amendment on the floor to replace rule number 7, vacant precinct delegate positions will not be filled, with a statement that says vacant precinct delegate positions will be filled. Did I appropriately state that, Tom? Okay. So that is the amendment, and there is a second. So we need more debate or discussion? All right, which is closed. Thank you. So let's vote on that amendment. All in favor of making that amendment change, please raise your red card. And the tellers will count. Are you finished counting the yeas? All opposed, are you finished checking? Okay, all opposed, please raise your red card. How many are in favor of the amendment?
47 are in favor, 60 are against.
Okay, and anyone abstain from that? No abstentions. Okay, so, the amendment is not approved. All right? So, we're in discussion on the rules. So are there any other?
Point of information,
Yes, Matt.
can the convention rules outweigh state election law?
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Point of information,
Yes, Matt.
can you cite the rule that says that, please? The law?
The bylaws, the Michigan election law provides that each state party adopts its own bylaws and rules of procedure. Michigan GOP bylaws likewise say that each county convention can adopt its own rules of procedure, and that's what we've done.
Point of information?
Who's speaking? Loretta Mullet, yes?
Then in that case, when we have repeatedly asked for the convention rules ahead of time, and we were denied, and we were told that they didn't exist, I would like to know what that is, and also, because many of us have, and also you had just stated that the laws take precedence over the Robert rules and conventions. The laws would always take precedence. She cited the law.
As far as the actual rules go, the rules were not developed yet, and our past precedent for these conventions has been to present them to the convention for our county convention. And I think you did see the local county bylaws that do not include any convention references. So that I can address that piece of it. I'm going to ask someone from rules to address the second part of your question. JD, over here.
So, Madam Chair, I would refer everyone again back to state election law, MCL 168.622. It indicates the convention shall prescribe the rules and regulations for the conduct of its affairs. That's specifically, so it's really consistent with state law. And also on this point, it also indicates that the convention may fill any vacancy by a majority vote, but it expressly does not require that.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a motion.
Loretta?
That is that our rules amended that before conventions, all of the delegates are giving the rules ahead of time so that we can be familiar with them, to read them.
You're asking for a rule that applies to a future convention. So I think we need to take that up with the new, my thought was the next executive committee should discuss that proposal that you have, that feedback that you have, and consider that for future county conventions. Because it doesn't apply to this one correct right now, but you're asking for in the future.
I would like for the delegates to get.
And then could the secretary please make note of that proposal so that we don't lose sight of that feedback? Thank you. Any other discussion on
Just a quick point of
rules?
information, and if I could.
Yes, Jeremy Rogers, please.
I think I can direct this to John Lauterbach. I just have a question for you. I'm not sure whose job this would be. It may be that it's up to the county clerk to make this determination. One quick question I have is, if somebody is a at-large delegate and they're an elected county official for 4 years, meaning they get elected to a 4-year term, and they decide to run for precinct delegate in the middle of their term when they are not on the ballot for their county office, is that legal?
I'll answer that one. Yes, it is.
So why would we not, to me, that means that
Anyone
you are
can run for
suggesting.
precinct delegate. And what's the requirement is that they vacate that seat once they're elected, because they can't serve their vote.
Right,
You're
so
asking-
the only reason you do that, in my opinion, is that you want to preclude somebody else from that precinct from filling that spot.
Thanks for your input. Any other discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote on the rules. All in favor of the proposed rules to adopt these rules that were read by JD, please raise your red slip. Did you finish counting the yeses? All who say no to passing the
Are
rules?
you voting, Kathy?
Yes, we're voting no.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I'm using this as an example. If the vote is close, then I will vote. I'm just holding this up to demonstrate.
Good, I just want to make sure.
Anyone who is voting no on the rules, please raise your red slip, and I'm not voting here. Thank you. Are there any abstentions? Anyone abstain? Okay. No.
Vote tally is 71 yes, 35 no.
Okay. So the rules pass by a vote of 71 to 35. Okay?